Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today, I want to go ahead and dive deep into the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. Give you guys my thought process on the market right now. Give you my mindset on the market right now for both the macro picture and the technical analysis on the charts on the NASDAQ and the ES. I think it is more important right now to get a good understanding of what the overall market is doing more than what individual stocks are doing, because ultimately the overall market is what's going to drive these other specific stocks, and we need to have a good understanding of where we are on the charts and where we are in the macroeconomic environment. So today, I want to give you my thoughts, give you my mindset. Of course, this is my thought process. Everyone is open to have their own opinion. So if you don't agree with what I say, that is totally okay. It's okay to have different opinions in the market. That is what creates a market in the first place. So feel free to share your comments on the video down below. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to go ahead and share with you what I believe, and we'll get a good understanding of the market as a whole, both the macroeconomic side and the technical analysis. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope this video gives you some light on what I'm currently thinking on the market, because right now, I believe that is the most important thing to catch opportunities here in the near future, is to make sure to really lock into what the overall NASDAQ and S&P are doing. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Press that like button down below. Subscribe if you want to stay tuned for more. And of course, press the bell so that you guys know every single time that I post. All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and start this video off with the macro side of things. Now, when we talk about macro, what I'm talking about is the overall economy, the large picture. What is the economic news that is going on? When I talk about this, I think we need to focus on two things right now, and we also have to know that macro things can pop up at any time. We always see new macroeconomic events and problems always occurring, but right now I think there are two major ones that are really trying to figure out this market. The first thing is obviously inflation and the Fed funds rate, the rising interest rates. As you guys know, we came out and saw yesterday that the Federal Reserve is going to be increasing interest rates, most likely by 0.25% throughout the rest of the year. There's 6 more meetings during this year, and they will most likely increase at every single one, with their final goal of having the Fed funds rate right around 1.9%. Now, with that said, what I am liking about the Federal Reserve saying that and coming out with that is that it's giving us clarity and it's giving us a plan. The market does not like to be uncertain. And I feel like the market does like that it knows the plan and it knows that interest rates are going to be increasing throughout the rest of the year, and we can plan on that occurring. Now, any large changes to that plan by the Federal Reserve, I think will cause problems, and we need to stay on that plan for the market to continue higher. So if we stick on that plan that the Federal Reserve came out and said, and we have those rising interest rates, I view that as actually quite a bullish thing or quite a positive thing. We have the plan. We are planning to increase rates to try to get inflation lower. That is currently what the Federal Reserve is coming out and saying. Now, like I said, big changes to that plan, I think, could cause problems. So that right there is something that I do like about this market. I do like about the macro picture. I like that we got some clarity from Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve. And I think that is possibly why you are seeing just a little bit of a bounce on this market, because we have that plan, we have the 0.25 increase, and we have some more clarity on the inflation picture and the federal funds rate. So let me know what you guys think about that, first of all, in the comments below. But I view that right now as something that is slightly bullish to this market. I know inflation's high, I know interest rates are increasing, but those are things that don't have to be continuously bearish throughout the rest of the year. We have definitely priced in high inflation. We all know it is here, and we are starting to have a plan of attack to try to sort of countermeasure the rising inflation. If it works, we shall see. We don't quite know if it is going to work yet, but we have the plan in place, and I think that is giving some clarity for the market. Now, number two is obviously the Russia and Ukraine conflicts that are occurring right now. And this one is a little bit more uncertain to me. I think this is the macroeconomic event that could cause some more pressure on this market, because there is a lot of uncertainty going on. We continue to see news about possible peace treaties or ceasefires, and then they end up failing. And it just seems like it's going around in a circle, and it doesn't seem like anyone has a very good idea of when this sort of conflict is going to end in Russia and Ukraine. So on that side, I am a little bit more concerned. I don't quite know when that's going to end. I don't quite know when that is going to be resolved. And I think the market is reflecting that because it is uncertain. Anything uncertain is going to affect the market. So on the Federal Reserve side of things, I like what came out. I think it is a positive to this market. I think that the certainty and the plan is very good. On the other side, the Russia and Ukraine conflicts, that is still, I think, the thing that will plague this market and potentially cause a little bit more pressure. Now, does it cause more major downside? I don't know about that, but I definitely think it could be a reason why this market will have a little bit of struggle of taking off to the upside. So that's my picture right now. That's what I'm thinking right now in the short term. Let me know what you guys think of the macro picture that I am currently thinking of. Am I missing anything? Is there something I should be paying attention to? But right now, that is my mindset on those two macroeconomic events. So with that said, now I want to go ahead and jump into the technicals. Share with you guys some very interesting things that are occurring right now. We are breaking some very interesting resistance points. We're not quite to the point where I would be fully comfortable, but we're seeing some very interesting breaks and some nice upside over the last few days that are definitely notable. I'm not saying that they are important and they are, signals of more upside, but there's definitely some notable things going on the charts, on the technicals that I want to go ahead and share with you today. All right, guys, so on your screen, this is the NASDAQ, and we're going to go ahead and just kick off the technicals here. The first thing that I want to really point out, the first thing that I am very interested in and focusing on is the 20 SMA. I have been looking at this 20 SMA for quite a bit now, and I think the 20 SMA could be a good little indicator to see what the next move on this market is. The 20 SMA has been a struggle to get over for the last 3 months. You guys can see since January, we have not traded consecutively over the 20 SMA for about 3 months now. So it's been a very tough level to get over. Now, over the last 2 days, this is the first time in about 3 months that we have opened and closed above the 20 SMA on a trading day on the NASDAQ. This is something that is interesting to me and something that we definitely should be looking at, right? So this day right here, guys, that you can see, this is today. We opened and closed above the 20 SMA, and I caught that as a win. I think that is a win for the bulls there. I'm not saying that this is causing the next upside move, but that is something that I'm definitely focusing on. So the 20 SMA is something that I think you guys should be focusing on. I think is important here. We went ahead and opened and closed above the 20 today. That is interesting, and that is something that I am definitely focusing on here on the overall market. Now, before we dive in a little deeper into the shorter term time frames, the next thing that I want to share with you here is the bullish divergence that I am currently seeing in this market. Now, I'll never use the RSI and bullish divergence to take large positions. I don't trust it enough, but I just want to go ahead and share with you guys the bullish divergence that is occurring on the market right now. A lot of people do like to trade divergence. It's definitely something that you can read about and learn about. It is something that is highly sort of looked after in the market. So bullish divergence, it's here, and it's something that is quite interesting as well, along with that 20 SMA. So what is bullish divergence? Well, you can pull up the RSI. You can use RSI bullish divergence, and it is when the RSI is making higher lows while the market is making lower lows. What this is sort of saying is that the bears are losing steam and the bulls are actually trying to take over it. That's the easiest way to go ahead and explain it. It's when the selling pressure is starting to lose strength and the buying is starting to creep in. That's my interpretation of it. You can obviously go online and just type in what is bullish divergence. You will see a very similar definition to that. So where do we see the bullish divergence? Well, if we look at the market, guys, you can see we've been making lower lows, lower lows, lower lows. We have 4 consecutive lower lows. Here's 1, here's 2, here's the 3rd one, and here is the 4th one. So we are on that downtrend making lower lows, right? That is the first part of the bullish divergence, the lower lows on this market. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, if we look at the bottom of our screen, we can see that the RSI is making higher lows. You can see right here, here's the first low at the bottom of your screen. Here's another low right here. Here's the next low. And on the 14th of March, we made another higher low. So right there, you guys can see we have bullish divergence. We have higher lows on the RSI and lower lows on the NASDAQ daily chart. And that is the definition of bullish divergence. Now, we'll see if this works out. We'll see if this is an indicator of a bottom starting to come in. But it is something that I did want to share with you guys and make sure you are aware of that is currently going on in the market. I got to give a shout out to one of the members. I forgot who it was. I apologize. You know who you are if you were watching this video. He spotted this and I found very much interest in it. And we can see right here, bullish divergence, lower lows and higher lows here on the RSI, something that is quite interesting. So that's the first thing. Those are the big top level view things that I wanted to share with you. The daily chart, 20 SMA, open and close above the bullish divergence. The next thing that I want to share with you guys is here on the 4-hour chart, and we can see it right here. I'm going to go ahead and delete the divergence, the RSI. And here is what I am looking at here on the 4-hour. So if we zoom in here, today was a day that we actually made a break above this pretty important 13.8 level. You guys can see we have had quite a bit of trouble getting over 13.8 for about the last week and a half. So right here today, we did a break and retest at 13.8. I think that is quite interesting. If I zoom in here, you guys can see we had a break right here, a retest of 13.8, and that is interesting to me. That is quite bullish to me. So moving forward, 13.8, that's huge. We need to hold above that 13.8 level because that is where the previous resistance was. Previous resistance turning into support, that is typically a bullish thing. So what's next? After this 13.8, we had the psychological level at 14,000, which we did close above today. We closed at about 14,050. So we closed higher than that 14,000 technical level. The next level that I am very focused on this market is right up at these previous lows, right around 14,300. Now, in my opinion, if we do break above 14,003 and make a higher high here, I think that is something that will cause more upside. I think this is the level that we're going to want to see break, and I believe this is the level that could actually unleash some more buying pressure. If we get another break and retest of this 14.3, I think that would be a pretty bullish sign here on the market and something that I may start to get my feet wet in. That's when I might start to attack a little bit heavier if I start to see the market over this 14,300 level on the NASDAQ. So we broke an important level today. It's definitely a step in the right direction. Right here around 13.8, we got the break and retest and we are holding. I do like that about the market. The next level that I will be focusing on here is 14,300 going into tomorrow and going into next week. Do we see any more pressure up towards that 14.3? That is something I am definitely keeping an eye out for. So that's my view right now, guys. The daily chart is something that I'm very focused on. The 20 SMA hold, open and close above the 20 SMA. That's pretty big in my opinion. And then the bullish divergence that I showed you earlier, the 14,000 break, the 13.8 break and retest, and the next level here, right around 14.3. If we get a 14.3 break, that would be the first time that we have a higher high of these major pivot levels. So you have a pivot level here, you made a lower low, right? Or you made a low, you made a lower high right there. We broke down, made a lower high. Broke down again, made a lower high. We broke down, made a lower high, and we broke down. Now, if we go up and we make a higher high, if we come back down and we make a higher high over this pivot high right here at 14.3, I think that is starting to see some type of bullish momentum. So that is something that I am very focused on. The 14.3 level, I think that is sort of that, I think that is where things could potentially flip. So right there at 14.3 on the technicals, as we know, technicals are technicals and they can be totally broken by macroeconomic events. But that is definitely the thing that I am focusing here on the NASDAQ at 14,300. All right, guys, so next, let's go over the ES, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up this video. So the ES, the S&P 500, we did the same thing, which I was very focused on, an open and close above the 20 SMA. That was something that was very interesting to me. Now, on the ES, we did have this previously. Right here back on the 9th of February, we did have an open and close above the 20, and we saw that fail. So that is why I am still slightly concerned. I'm not going in, full portfolio, getting very aggressive here on the upside, but I definitely am focusing on whether this 20 SMA holds. So we can see an open and close above the 20. That is something we have not seen since around February 9th, and that is something that I am focusing on. Same exact thing, we have that bullish divergence. You can see we're making lower lows on the ES while we make higher lows on the RSI. So that alone is bullish divergent and something that could be an indication of upside. Now, what level am I focusing on the ES to see if we can get over? And I think it's pretty clear. It's right around this 4,400. So if I zoom in and I show you guys this level, it's very similar to that level on the NASDAQ. It is a very crucial and potentially tipping point level, and that is right here at $4,400. Right here, 4,400. You can see we rejected it slightly today. I think that, along with 14.3 on the NASDAQ and 4,400 on the ES, I think those are the two major levels that we need to see this market get over to have a technical breakout. So right here, 4,400, guys, on the ES. Once here, if we get over it here, I think that is a positive thing. We had the same type of break and retest on this market today. If we sort of look at this 4,300 area right around here, we had previous support, we had previous resistance, we broke it, came back down, and came back up. So we were able to hold above this previous resistance level today, around 4,300 on the ES, but we're right near that 4,400, and that is my tipping point level where I need to see this market get above before I can get a little bit more confidence. So on the NASDAQ, we have this very important 14.3. That's the level that I am eyeing right now. On the ES, I am eyeing the 4,400 level, which we are coming right into as of today. So if we get over that level, that would be the same thing. It would be a first higher high of major pivot levels. You can see right here, here's your pivot, here's a pivot, here's a pivot. You have a previous high, a lower high, a lower high, a lower high, and we finally potentially coming up. And do we get a higher high? Do we retest it? And do we start to reverse here? This is a very preliminary analysis of what is occurring on this market. I am not fully confident in the bounce that we are seeing, but there are signals and there are technical levels that could give us some more insight here, and we definitely need to be focusing on this. This is so much more important than looking at individual stocks. Does the NASDAQ, does the ES on the charts, on the technicals, start to break these levels? Do we start to see higher highs form on this market? Are we starting to see somewhat of a bottom form here? Stay up to date on this channel. Stay up to date with the live streams. I'll be looking at this on a daily basis on the live streams every single morning with you guys that come on. But this is my laser focus right now. What is going on in the ES and the NASDAQ? Are we getting the technical breakouts? And of course, we have to continue to focus on the macroeconomics that go on, such as the Federal Reserve, the Russia and Ukraine conflicts, and anything else that can surprise this market. That is, of course, very, very important as well. So guys, I hope this helps a little bit. I hope this gives you the levels that I am watching, the levels that you should be watching as well. Gives you some idea of what's going on in my mind on both the macro side and the technical side. Let me know what you guys think of everything I talked about today. I would love to hear your comments. Keep them calm, keep them respectful. I'm not coming out here and pushing something down your mind. I'm just trying to explain what I'm looking at, explain what my thought process is, and sharing with you guys my analysis. If you enjoy the analysis, press the like button, subscribe to the channel for more, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace.